Steven Kenneth Bonnell II, better known as Melina's ex-husband, also sometimes known as Destiny, outed himself in recent days as being a complete deranged psychopath. And no, I don't say that lightly.
How about your parents? If they get their brains blown out at a rally, would you have the same attitude? They are democracy-hating insurrectionists after all. One, you're permabanned for asking a stupid question, because the obvious answer two is, listen, they're adults. They make their own decision.
As we all know, on July 13th, there was an attempted assassination of Donald Trump, which left one rally attendee dead, two more injured, including the former president, who managed to pull off some Matrix-style move last second, leaving him only with a shot through his ear. This is definitely one of the hardest photos of all time. No one is taking that from him. It's definitely going down in the history books. And bro never misses a chance for a photo op, does he? But while most people took to the internet to condemn the violence, some far-left freaks took to TikTok and various other platforms to gloat about how close they were to blowing the head off their opposition live on TV.
John Wilkes Booth, if you can hear us, if you are with us, please, John Wilkes Booth, if you're listening, please.
We're not even sending our best to fucking assassinate. Cause what the hell was that? Lee Harvey Oswald would never. John Wilkes Booth would never.
My dad just called me to tell me that Trump got shot, and I said good over the phone. And he was like, don't say that over the phone. Like, you can't say that over the phone. And I just want to make this as a public apology to my FBI agent. I don't believe in guns, but I just wanted to support a good cause.
Just got out of the movies, and for a split second, I thought Donald Trump had been assassinated. And I thought to myself, this is the best fucking day of my life. And then he wasn't, so it's the worst day of my life.
We've all known for a long time that there were deranged lunatics in politics. This doesn't come as a shock to anyone, but what did come as a shock to a lot of people was Destiny's response to this situation.
If one of you were in the crowd and you're a conservative fan of mine and you end up, getting blown away or whatever the fuck, I'm making fun of you the next day on Twitter. I am.
Steven grew up in a moderately right-wing Christian household. He even attended Catholic school at a young age. Most conservatives glaze this guy because they see him as the most level-headed liberal. One of the good ones. To many, he seemed to have a more objective approach to his positions, calling out the right and the left equally whenever they were wrong. He's had debates with people on all sides of the political spectrum, from far-left lolly lover Vosh to far-right transfer is not genocide Ben Shapiro. He currently streams on YouTube because in 2022 he was indefinitely suspended from Twitch because he was mass reported for hate speech by trans rights activist and bathroom chemist Keffels. Before his suspension on Twitch, he had amassed 699,000 followers, and now currently sits at 794,000 subscribers on YouTube. Though he is still regarded in the online political arena as being an intellectual powerhouse, he recently has had a long line of taking L's, going back just last year when his relationship became the subject of a lot of criticism.
But I'm in a poly relationship. The reason why I'm in a poly relationship is because I don't give a fuck if my girlfriend goes and fucks another guy, because I know she's coming back to me at the end of the night. Because we love each other. Because I'm a cool fucking person. I know that. If I'm not gonna gatekeep the fuck out of who my girlfriend fucks, do you think I'm gonna chase you around?
Destiny was already in an open relationship with his ex-wife Melina, but in May of last year, Abba from the Abba and Preach channel visited Destiny at his house, and they decided to do a live stream together. This is where the famous Mel Time video comes from. Abba danced with Destiny's wife Melina, while Destiny just basically sat there looking like he was fantasizing about the sweet release of death.
Because I would probably figure out the basic steps, and I would figure out how to do everything.
All right, let's find out.
No.
Find out.
Uh-oh.
No, okay.
Mel time.
Why would I say this?
Mel time. It's Mel time.
Oh, she got the form. Okay,
Alright.
so we're just doing salsa. We're just going.
Yep. Right. Yeah?
Yeah.
Is that okay? Yeah.
There you go. Yay.
Okay, it kind of works.
This earned Destiny the rank of internet cuck, which, if you don't know what that means, it basically means that Destiny is the reason that there are chairs facing the bed in hotel rooms. Bro likes watching his wife take back shots from other men. This clip went so viral that it became a long discussion during their appearance on the Whatever podcast. People began clowning on Destiny left and right because of it. He got so upset about it, though, that he created a blacklist of people he will never interact with again because they made jokes about his wife. who ended up leaving him anyways for a femboy TikToker only a couple months later. Among that list was Nick Fuentes, who Destiny had been hanging out with and talking with frequently up to that point. Nick was invited on the Fresh and Fit podcast to discuss topics we're not gonna talk about on this channel, but despite the blacklist, Destiny still decided to weasel his way onto the podcast to play hall monitor, and he lost the debate in record fashion, leaving his entire subreddit on fire.
Elon Musk, Twitter's private now. Where's the pressure? They killed all his advertisers. They sponsored an advertiser boycott in December, and they didn't get all of them back, obviously. That's where you don't even know what you're talking about. They did the same thing to Facebook.
No, okay. That was a major L for me. I didn't even think about that.
Destiny then went on to have debates with the likes of Jordan Peterson, Ben Shapiro, and even Andrew Wilson from The Crucible. And the general consensus around that is he lost those as well. But for a brief time, things were looking up for Destiny. He did a video with Turkey Tom, which brought a lot of new attention to Destiny in a more human light. He also exposed Fresh's baby mama for being the awful wench that she is. He also clowned on Sneeko during a debate about age of consent. And recently, he's the one who exposed Boogie2988 for faking cancer. So, good job, Destiny. But underneath that surface, something sinister was a-brewing. As Donald Trump's popularity grew and he went from being the likely nominee to the presumptive nominee, and now the favorite for president in November, Destiny has become increasingly more and more terrified about the probability of another Donald Trump presidency. But now the mask is off, and Destiny has become more unhinged than even Hassan Piker, if you can believe it. Maybe he always was. And maybe now he's just allowing us to see him for who he really is. In the hours following the attack on the former president, Destiny began his downfall with a tweet stating that he was conflicted about the attack, which left a lot of people wondering, what the f do you mean conflicted?
I'm honestly conflicted on how I feel about the shooting, but we'll chat about it on stream tomorrow.
Clearly, he couldn't be saying that he's fine with that level of political violence, right? Right?
Let me clarify, when I say conflicted, what I mean is that I lean towards seeing it as a natural extension of the thing Trump and the MAGA kids support, so I don't think I have much sympathy about the attempt enough to chastise people celebrating it.
Oh. Destiny tweeted about the shooting 50 times in the first 24 hours, and that does not include retweets. He was getting clowned on by literally everyone, including Elon Musk himself. Some of his more controversial tweets reads as follows.
If we learned anything today, I hope it's realizing the importance of principles I've stressed many times on stream before. Having a firearm means absolutely nothing if you don't spend time at the range practicing with it. It's a win-win for me. I either get the candidate I ideologically align with, or Trump gets elected and I get more tax cuts on my 7-figure income while brokey trailer trash retards like you celebrate in the streets and die of diabetes. I'm sure Corey and Babbitt are both having fun with each other in hell right now. All I see is Biden up +1 in Pennsylvania. For every MAGA that was giggling along with my edgy Palestinian tweets, I hope you realize every single Palestinian civilian that gets bombed and killed in Gaza is worth 100 times more respect than any loser who gets wasted at a Trump rally. Don't be selective with your laughs now.
Now, the loser he is referring to is 50-year-old Fire Chief Corey Comprator, who was killed at the Trump rally defending his wife and daughter from gunfire. Keep in mind, Destiny is a 35-year-old with a son that he abandoned. Yes. This is the man referring to Corey as a loser. He also posted a lot of rage bait with zero substance, all designed to just piss people off. And it worked. I'm not gonna lie, some of it was kind of funny, though definitely in bad taste. Destiny claims that the reason he doesn't care about Donald Trump almost getting his head blown up on TV, or Corey who actually was killed, is because of the January 6th attack on the Capitol. He claims that Donald Trump incited an insurrection, and therefore anyone who supports him is fair game.
When the guy you supported openly and unabashedly tried to overthrow the government and then begged the Supreme Court for criminal immunity so he could become a king above the law and avoid all accountability for his actions, it's hard to have the moral high ground on any kind of response. This is the world conservatives have built, and now the rest of us have to live in it. I'll condemn it once Republicans condemn the insurrection.
This is all really rich coming from the same guy who in 2020 said that attacking government buildings was a legitimate form of protest and that he wouldn't care. Oh, you don't believe me? Oh, I got the receipts.
I guess maybe if I got in trouble for it, I wouldn't talk about it as much, but no, I 100% support people defending property against violent rioters. If you want to protest, then fucking go protest. Amen. I love protesters, okay? It's an important part of the American fucking experiment or whatever protesting is. Rioting has no place in this country. Unless you want to go riot against government shit. Go blow up a fucking federal building or some shit. Knock yourself out.
To this day, not a single January 6th defendant has been charged with insurrection. That is an actual legitimate charge that the Department of Justice would have used if they believed any of these people were involved in such a plot. It's like Destiny has selective memory or something. He cries and whines about Donald Trump's incitement of January 6th, but he's totally fine with Vice President Kamala Harris, who also advocated for more protesting during the height of the actually deadly, actually destructive George Floyd riots.
Right. For the first few weeks.
That's right. But they're not going to stop. They're not going to stop. And they're not, this is a movement, I'm telling you. They're not going to stop. And everyone beware, because they're not going to stop. They're not going to stop before Election Day in November, and they're not going to stop after Election Day. And that should be, everyone should take note of that on both levels, that this isn't, they're not going to let up, and they should not. And we should not.
They stopped, but no, it's only okay when my team does it. Another argument that Destiny says is that Trump and his supporters mocked Paul Pelosi after he was attacked. Well, let me add some context here. The attack on Paul Pelosi happened October 28th, 2022. The mocking that Destiny is referring to happened on September 30th, 2023, almost a year after it happened. Nancy Pelosi, Paul Pelosi's wife, is the same woman who refused Trump's orders for more security on January 6th. She actually was in a recent leaked footage admitting that she is responsible for the security failure on that day, yet decided to run with the Democrats' narrative that Donald Trump is a violent insurrectionist.
We have responsibility, Terry. We did not have any accountability for what was going on there, and we should have. This is ridiculous. You're going to ask me in the middle of the thing when they've already breached the inaugural stuff that should we call the Capitol Police? I mean the National Guard? Why weren't the National Guard there to begin with?
They thought that they had sufficient resources.
That is not a question of how they had. They don't know. They clearly didn't know, and I take responsibility for not having them just prepare for more.
Then to top it all off, the attacker was a mentally ill, drug-addicted, illegal alien nudist who lived in a school bus in Berkeley with a pride flag and a BLM banner out front. The Pelosi's live in San Francisco, which is a safe haven and a sanctuary city for illegal aliens and drug addicts. And that is thanks to Nancy Pelosi herself, which, as one man would put it,
believe me, there's plenty of subject matter right there. That I can tell you.
The reporting on this subject changed multiple times, from being a possible former lover of Paul Pelosi to being his drug dealer. Then, the media started off with the idea that it was a QAnon Trump supporter who was radicalized by Trump's rhetoric, which couldn't be further from the truth. If you were following the situation when it happened, it was very bizarre. Should Trump have mocked it? No, probably not, but all things considered, what he said was pretty tame.
And we'll stand up to crazy Nancy Pelosi who ruined San Francisco. How's her husband doing, by the way? Anybody know?
But sure, if Destiny wants to make jokes about an assassination attempt the day it happens, fine. Go for it, man. You can make the argument that the joke is in bad taste, and I would probably agree with you. Though at the same time, I come from the notion that if I don't like a joke, it probably wasn't written for me to begin with, and so I just move on. I don't mind jokes, as many of my audience knows by now. What I do have a problem with is his actual hatred of anyone who supports Donald Trump. You can believe that Donald Trump supporters are unintelligent, ignorant, misguided. I wouldn't have a problem with that. What he said on his show the day after the attempted assassination was not a joke at all.
I'm tired of getting gaslit for years, that I have to pretend that both sides of the political aisle right now are making coherent arguments, or that they have the same moral authority to lead. The fact that, like, when I have to describe events to people in real life to make my case, I feel crazy because of how much conservatives have dictated all of the media cycles. I wrote down. It doesn't even matter. There's no point even going over it. I don't even care. Well, I do, but they don't. The people that support Donald Trump
in this country have lost every conceivable tie that they have to calling themselves moral American citizens that would support this country. The road that the Republicans have taken us down and their support for an insurrectionist president leaves me with absolutely zero pity for anything that happens at any fucking event.
Destiny, you're actually the one gaslighting conservatives. As a guy who was around in 2015, I can clearly remember that it was almost impossible to be a Trump supporter openly. If you were wearing a MAGA hat in 2015, there is a good chance that you were lied about, mocked, threatened, attacked. You probably lost friends and family for supporting the guy. I mean, I saw it for myself, and there are still countless videos of people leaving Trump rallies getting attacked by violent mobs of protesters. No one in the media was crying about those attacks, were they? From the view of a Trump supporter, the media lied about Trump, painting him and his followers as racists. Then his campaign was spied on by the Obama administration, which the media lied about as well. Then, he was painted as a Russian asset by the Hillary Clinton campaign and her funding of the fake dossier, which the media and FBI lied about. After Trump won the election, there were riots all across the country, which the media did not denounce. Then, while Trump was in office, after the Charlottesville riot, the media lied about his statement about good people on both sides. Then the media lied about Trump saying to inject bleach in your arm during the COVID outbreak. Then, to top it all off, the FBI, the media, and big tech all colluded to slander and suppress the release of the Hunter Biden laptop story as Russian disinformation. From a neutral perspective, you cannot make the argument that Trump supporters have been escalating their rhetoric unprovoked. From many people's perspective, Destiny, it is your political party's unhinged attempts to derail this man's entire life. From slander, to investigations, to impeachment, to changing laws in order to convict him of crimes that are past the statute of limitations, and now we're at assassination attempts.
The strongest form of an argument that I would even consider entertaining is maybe you shouldn't laugh at them if something happens, and you'd have to argue hard for that. But to express sympathy, you're way, way, way the fuck beyond that. I think that people think that politics is either a way to generate ad revenue or a way to have fun online. And if that's the case, then have fun and knock yourself out. But it's not a fucking game. And what we're supposed to have endured over the past 8 years when half of this country is rotted to the core is insane. So, no, I think that if you're a Trumple and you're asking for sympathy when something goes awry at one of your events, when you've been supporting a guy who is avowedly anti-democratic and who tried to insurrect the government, who has managed through party, legal, and extra-legal means to avoid culpability or responsibility at every single step of the way, that the party of rule and law is the one who wouldn't convict in the Senate because they said he wasn't a sitting president anymore, the guy who pardoned every single friend and ex-campaign member that he had, who the Supreme Court decided that they didn't actually like the 14th Amendment anymore, so they were going to toss that because it wasn't fair to Trump. The guy who is probably going to have all 4 of his cases tossed because of the Supreme Court ruling deciding that the president actually is immune from criminal probes. Miss me with that shit, fam. And miss Trump, you know? Less swing voters that way, I guess. I'm so far over dealing with the Trumples, who are the worst, I think, that America has to offer, trying to tone police or trying to beg for sympathy. Fuck it. Fuck it. Fuck the dude, the firefighter guy, fuck Trump, fuck the people that support him.
That statement is actually worse than the basket of deplorables statement by Hillary Clinton in 2016. Oh yeah, I'm sure you guys are gonna win the election that way, buddy. Good job. So Destiny basically believes that the opposition to his political party should have just shut up, laid down, taken all the beatings from his political party, the media, and the Department of Justice. Destiny, I don't believe that's how politics works, buddy. Like I said, from most people's perspective, it has been the establishment and the legacy media that's been bullying Trump and Trump supporters since the beginning. But yeah, f*** them for not going along with it, I guess. What? We've been f***ing with you for years and you've used every available option to you in order to stay in power, not be thrown behind bars, and not have your legacy written by people that hate you and lie about you on a daily basis? You must literally be Hitler or something. Now, you probably think it can't get much worse for Destiny after this level of spurging, but unfortunately, he went and said probably the worst thing you could possibly say if you wanted to maintain even an ounce of legitimacy. Bro said that even if you were his own friend or family, and you were supporting Trump on the 13th and you got killed, he would not have cared at all.
I just want you to know, okay, just in case you're confused or it seems like I'm, whatever. If one of you were in the crowd and you're a conservative fan of mine and you end up, getting blown away or whatever the f, I'm making fun of you the next day on Twitter. I am, 100%. And if you tweet anything about Putin or whatever, I'm going to throw it up on the retweet. I'm going to put you right on the picture next to Babbitt and Corey, and we're all going to fucking make fun of you. And that's what should happen, because fuck you, okay? Sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, fuck you. How about your parents? If they get their brains blown out at a rally, would you have the same attitude? They are democracy-hating insurrectionists after all. One, you're permaban for asking a stupid question, because the obvious answer two is, listen, they're adults. They make their own decisions. If you want to support an insurrectionist president, then whatever comes of that that's your consequences. Again, it's not a fucking joke. My mom is an immigrant to the United States of America. She was 5 years old. Her parents worked really hard to get her here. She served for 20 years in the Air Force, along with my dad. They know exactly what they're doing. They should know exactly what they're supporting. It was my mom that, ranted at me for over a decade about how evil the USSR and Putin and all the Chi-coms and all that shit. So whatever, if they go to a rally and they, whatever the fuck, is less end-of-life cost for me to deal with. It's on them. That's their decision. You think I'm going to lose sleep over that? No. We all have our own paths to walk in life. We all have our own decisions to make.
Man, he is a hateful little guy, isn't he? To think that someone could say something so unhinged, so heartless, and still believe that they're the good guy? It's crazy. I feel like I could ask any Trump supporter if they would lose sleep or at least be a little upset if their liberal friends or family got blown away at a rally, and I'm sure they'd all say yes. Who does that then make the bad guy? You can have the correct opinions, you can have the correct policy, but if deep down you're this much of a sinister little bastard, I don't think you're a good person at all. And that's all I got for this video. If you agreed with anything I said, don't forget to drop a like. Don't forget to tell me what you think in the comments below, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.